Hello YouTubers. As you're probably aware, this is a Montesa 4Rt Repsol 2020. Now, if you would like to fit one of these magnetic kill switches, this one that flicks off and stops your bike, and include the standard off-on switch that Montesa supply, I think it's quite a good idea, because if this ever fails, which they often do, this in here is a wee spring with a wee magnet, and it's drawn up and closes the circuit. Now, sometimes they have failed. If you come off your bike and it's still going, and you're pinned under it, at least someone else or yourself could lean over and press it. It gives you an opportunity as a secondary kill to protect you and your bike. So that's what we've done. Now I'm going to go through the procedure of how to do this. It's quite easy. Effectively, when you get the package in here, which we will force open, it is like this, which is too short, because I think these people think that you're going to attach it into here and not have this. It doesn't matter, because you only have to cut the wires and extend the earth, and then find this connector which you cut off and extend. They probably need about, I don't know, 6 inches more length. So what we've done, as you can see here, we've attached the kill closer to the headstock, and the magnetic kill next, because there's a lot of space here. You can have the mode mapping switch here, and then your clutch. They all have to be grouped in this area here, because fat bars are too wide for the connection. So they have to go on this 22, I believe it's 22 millimeters from about here onwards. So it's quite crowded, but that's what you've got to do. Other manufacturers sometimes put their mapping switches down here under somewhere else, but it is quite convenient sometimes to have it here. Okay, so what I'll do is show you, so they loop down here, the cable goes down, across here, down, and follows this group of other cables and hoses that go down to the coil. This here is the main earth, so we attach this earth to here. This cable here has got to chop into, or get into, and we'll show it later when we solder it, onto this yellow and green cable, not this one here. It's the lower of those two connectors. So we'll get on with another bike and we'll connect all this up and show you how it's done. Start and take this handlebar arrangements off. We're going to take the clutch off. So these new ones only have a perch with one Allen bolt. So we'll take that off, and you can just take that off and just unhook that, and that can just put that back there so you don't lose it, and that can just sit out of the way in the meantime. This mode switch or mapping switch, that can go down there, so we'll just put that there like that, and we can leave that there. And we put this on here, so we go around that way, so you can see it. Put that in there. They can just sit up there like that in the meantime. Now, we'll just have a look down on the floor here. This is the equipment you'll probably need. Most definitely you need a soldering iron, some wire strippers, some heat shrink, some solder, a pair of side cutters, a little 8mm socket, various plastic ties, and you'll follow and you'll see what's happening in the next little piece. So we'll go down now and we'll have a look at the coil. Now we're at the part where we have to take the coil off, and I'll describe to you which is the earth and which is the connecting cable that you have to attach the kill switch to. This is the earth here, and this is the other live. So this is the earth, my finger is pointing. You have to take this bolt off and connect this to it. The yellow and green striped cable is the one you're going to connect. If you look at it, there's the direction of the coil. It is at the connector at the bottom, not the connector at the top, which is the red one. The yellow one, we're going to make a connection in here. Okay, so we'll take this off now and we'll proceed. Okay, we're now going to make the solder joints at the top of the bike and put the heat shrink on and generally get it tidy. So we're just going to tin the cables like yo, and we're going to attach some extra length of cable. Tin these as well. doesn't matter which one you tin to, because the black. But if you remember, the black one here was the earth, and this was the the brown one was the earth. Put some heat shrink on both those. Just a wee short piece, about 25mm long. We could use a flame, which is not very good around a petrol tank, but never mind. And or you could use a heat gun. So here we go. And it shrinks around. Now we have to feed them down in behind, and find out about the length that we require. You just give yourself a bit more room, chop it off, bear it back, get a length of heat shrink, just to keep things tidy and look a little bit like the factory would do it. If you can't get it down the tube, just a little bit of saliva on the end of the cable is good, and it slips up. We take it right up to that and cover all that what we've done before, so it looks all smart. Put something behind, don't burn the paint, but I'll, doesn't take much, only going to do just a little bit, just heat it up just slowly, and just so it tightens around the top part so no water gets down. No need to do down the whole length, and that's that. Now we feed it in behind the stay, like so. Feed it down. It all looks part of the system. In at the bottom, we tin the other ends. So we're just going to bear back the two wires, tin those, put the connectors on. One of them is the round connector that goes on the earth, which we bared back previously. No, we didn't bear back previously. Just like that. Don't forget to put your heat shrink on. Before you put your connector on. put your heat shrink on again. Make sure the connection's very nice and waterproof. Stops the corrosion as well. Now you need a 8mm socket here. Take the earth off. As you can see, the green wires there are earths as well for the main system. A little bit fiddly, but a bit of effort you can get it. Washer, make sure you get the bracket around the right way, just that way, because that's what the coil attaches to. Put it into the welded nut. Get your socket out, tighten it up. Or just loosely, because you've got to adjust a few things. You can probably get that later with a spanner. And you just turn that like she stood down there, and we're all cool. Now, there comes the more tricky part, because we're attaching a bare wire to the spade connector, as in right there. So that'll have to be tinned, and we're going to put it at the very top up here. I've got something to point it with. Right at the top up here, coming down. So this whole lot's got to be tinned, and then the spade connector will go up onto that. And there's a wee bit of room, just a wee slot there where it's quite hard to get up, but it's a good method of holding it in place. Okay, so we'll proceed to do that. Okay, so we're about to tin the little spade connector that's attached to the coil. So as you can see, it takes quite a lot of heat from the soldering. There, it's gone pretty good there. And she's going to face the cable directly above it, so the spade connector will slide in. So just have to manipulate the wire so it's just right. It doesn't take much. Yep. That's pretty good in the center, and let it do its thing. Bit more solder required. I'll do that again. There it is, attached, and we'll try and get the spade connector on in a minute. is a good picture of how it should be, like that. Okay, now it just requires all the necessary folding of the cables into position behind the brackets, and like that, and that goes around the other way. And there's a wee bit of argy-bargy around here. You've got to get that bound behind there, behind the cable, behind the bracket. That's pretty good. Bit of finger work, but we will work on that to get the bolts in. One on the top, one on the bottom. That's the story. And make sure your little everything's in nice and neat and tidy, pushed up, and then you can get a open end spanner on the bottom earth. Just make sure they're lovely and tight, 'cause that's the main earth of the whole bike, so that has to be very good. And nice and tight, and do out the coil bolts like that, and just tidying up the cables coming down. Put a big cable tie through, back underneath the stay. Click it in position, because the Honda ones there are a bit puny. Pull that tight, squeeze that round like that out of the road so it doesn't hit your clothing. Snip it off. Checking everything's right, make sure you finger everything, make sure everything's tight, and then we have it. And we'll give a demo of how it works. How's that? And that's how it works. Thank you very much for watching.